Thanks for tuning in to this edition of Lancaster Perspective. I'm Mike Miller. My special guests today, Dave Benson and Tim Voris from the Fairfield County Fair. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate your opportunity to participate in your show.
Oh, this is fun. Fair time is always great time. It's either fair food or it's fair attractions. It's all those things that I enjoy, and I could eat fair food forever.
Well, that is not a good week for you, then, is it?
No.
All the French fries, cotton candy, and waffles, and the candy apples are not real good for your health, you know.
Yeah, I get all my tests done ahead of time, so I know that I'm okay.
That would be a great idea, yes.
This is a unique year. You're actually going to be moving on. You've been doing it 50 years now?
Well, that's what some people think. Yes. No, this will be my 24th year as the manager of the Fairfield County Fair. It's been a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for me and all the wonderful people I meet in this community and throughout the state of Ohio. And I really and truly have enjoyed it. And it's time for me to move on, and the enthusiasm and all those kind of things are sort of dwindling in my body every now and then.
And Tim Voris will be taking your place. And this transition will start October 1st? Or?
Well, we are in the process of transitioning now. Tim, started with me 1st of July, and he's learning the ropes, so to speak. And he doesn't have a very good teacher, but hopefully he's a fast learner. And, we're getting into the time of this year right now where we are very busy. Our office is open from 8:30 in the morning to 4 o'clock Monday through Friday. We are now taking the open class entries, which will end on the 26th of September. Anybody who plans on entering something at the fair needs to come into our senior fair office and make those entries.
Is there a website or a phone number? Just come in?
Well, you can come into the office. We do have a website. I don't know why you asked me that question because that's pretty hard for me to remember, okay? Our web is www.fairfieldcountyfair.org is our website, and we have all of the information on our website about the fair schedule, fair events, and things that are going on at the fairgrounds throughout the year.
And, of course, Fairfield County is the last fair in the state of Ohio.
It is the last and best of the year, okay?
Absolutely. We have a picture behind us of the fairgrounds that we put up. I got to ask, you started this. What was the difference 25 years ago to today? What?
Oh, my. The difference is twofold. When I started as the fair manager, we had maybe 4 or 5 activities on the fairgrounds a year. Now we probably have close to 200, 250 events going on at the fairgrounds, plus the fair. That has been the big change in the operation of the fairgrounds. And some of the things that actually do with the fair is rules, regulations, how they have changed over the years since I've been there. Just how many fences you got to jump to get to the point where you want to be. And it's mind-boggling sometimes. For example, we have junior fair rules. We have rules for the concessionaires. We have rules for the ride company. We have rules for the food people. We have rules for the game people. And then we have rules for our electric, our water that we have to abide by and make sure that all of our facilities are safe and up to date to operate throughout the year.
Do you remember your first day?
Vaguely. Okay, my first day I went for the interview and they selected me as the fair manager, and the next day they said, well, you'll start tomorrow. And I really wasn't prepared to start quite that soon. But when I first started, I had wonderful help. Ruth Farrow Ronco was the fair secretary and had been there for 30-some years and knew the ropes and got me through that first year. And I wasn't a stranger to the fair. My father had been on the fair board for 35 years before, and I had been around the fair since 1945. believe it or not, and had shown and exhibited, and my children had exhibited and shown at the fair, and had been involved in the fair since I was 10 years old. So it wasn't something that was strange to me, but it was. I didn't realize what all went on behind the scenes to operate.
Today's fair shower, as opposed to when you started, is it about the same? Are they younger, older?
Well, it's much more competitive. Much more competitive. Like, everything today is, your sports in schools are very competitive, and people who show around the fairs, livestock and things like that are very, very competitive people. And, I can remember when I was a youngster, we went out and paid $100 for a gilt to breed, to have pigs. Today I hear they're going for $500, $600, $700, $800. So that's the big difference is there's a lot more money invested in a project than there used to be. Yes.
Absolutely.
And the other thing is, when I was a child, young, we grew our stuff ourselves and brought it to the fair. Today they go out and purchase these hogs, the beef cattle, dairy cattle, and our farming community here in Fairfield County isn't as large as it used to be, and there's more and more families that live on a 5 or 10 acre farm or plot, and they go out and purchase what they're going to bring to the fair.
We talked a little bit off camera about families that have been involved with the fair, some of the amusement rides, the people that have been there. Talk a little bit about the changes you've seen over the last years.
Well, it has changed a little, but as we was talking, the fellow who has the cane operation there at the fair, which has been there at least 75 years that I know of, he has been at the same location. There's several families who sell candy apples and the cotton candy that have been in the fair business for quite a number of years, and it's surprising the number of people who think it's very easy to do, but they go buy a food trailer and a concession trailer and think, boy, I'm going to be a millionaire one of these days, and they find that it is a very long day. Sure. And it is you have quite a bit of money invested in the food product you have, and if you don't sell it, sure, you're stuck. So there's been some people who have come to me and say, well, we want to be a food concessionaire. Well, at our fair, we have very little turnover in food concessions or any of our vendors and concessionaires. So it's very difficult to get into the Fairfield County Fair as a food concession. So we like to take care of our Fairfield County people, but it's sometimes impossible to do.
You've had a lot of visitors to the fair. Is there anybody that sticks out in your mind that's come through?
The most fascinating person was a Budweiser Clydesdales. Oh. We've had Kenny Chesney, we've had Bob Dole, we've had Blake Sheldon, and those types of people. But to me, they were not a person, but the most fabulous thing that I think we've ever brought in my tenure to the Fairfield County Fair is the Clydesdales last 2 years. Yes,
that's amazing.
I'm just flabbergasted by those horses, and I just love to see them hitch them up and parade around, and to me that was probably the highlight of my career.
Is it difficult to get people to come in to do shows and things like that?
It is more difficult than it used to be, yes. A lot of these entertainers do not like to play county fairs anymore. And for various reasons, the sound and the conditions they're working under and things like that. They would much rather go into a controlled atmosphere like the Schottenstein Center, places like that where they're controlled atmosphere. But there still are quite a few out there that do play county fairs, yes.
Well, I noticed that the agenda, and Tim, you can jump in here. I know you've both been involved in this. You want to go through some of these things and just talk about what's coming on?
Well, I can start and take a couple of days, and then we'll let Tim. He's sitting here doing nothing, and he's on the payroll. So
well, that's not good.
That's
He's taking this all in. He's taking it all in.
If somebody's on the payroll, they ought to be holding up their end, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, that's the way I feel about it. But we open on Sunday, October the 9th, of course, at 12 noon. Again, that's a tradition at the Fairfield County Fair. It's a free day. And we open at 12 o'clock noon. The rides start. Highlights on that day is a free concert of gospel music, and there are some 4-H events go on. It's our evening is our 4-H panorama, where they name the outstanding boy and girl, Fairfield County. And when we get to Monday, we open the gates officially at 7 o'clock, but have a ribbon cutting at 8 o'clock in the morning. On that day, we have a lot of junior fair shows of different species of animals that are showing. Of course, in the evening, we have our A-Bar A rodeo bull riding, which is a very good event. It's a paid event, $5 tickets, which can be purchased at this time. But that is our grandstand event for Monday. Tuesday, we have our something that's been around for quite a few years is our horse pulling, more judging of junior fair livestock, mule races, which have become very popular throughout the years. Something that we started last year that is new is KOI dirt drag racing. I had never seen it before and run onto it, and had a very good turnout last year, and believe it or not, we can dirt drag race on the racetrack. And I'll let Tim tell you about Wednesday and Thursday.
We pick up Wednesday with the gates open at 7 o'clock again, and we're going to have the Feeder Creek Veterinary Show Arena, where we have the Junior Fair sheep judging that day. The Saddle Horse Show begins for our exhibitors. We kind of jump down through our harness races at the grandstands begin. We've got some color contest winning in the grandstands by the Licking River Kennel Club. And just some different things. Our Cross Point concert in the Art Hall is always a nice show to go to at 7:30 in the Art Hall. Myers Day is Thursday, October 13th. Large and small animal super showmanship sale, again in the Feeder Creek area of the show arena. Our open class sheep will be that day, our beef show, and our cook-off in the Art Hall is always interesting. A lot of people like to go over for that, as well as picking up our rabbit show that day. The junior livestock auction begins with our market steers, our market swine and products at the Feeder Creek Veterinary Show Arena, and we always like to have people come out and take the time to experience that and enjoy taking a little interest in our young people with their animals. Combine Demolition Derby that night, free show at 7:30. And that's always a good time for a lot of people to come over and watch some of the designs that these young people do with their combine vehicles and stuff. And then we have the Youth Power Wheel Derby about 8:45 that evening, and the kids enjoy that, and it's a nice little program. Going into Friday, Homecoming Day, the Treehouse Private Bands, Lancaster Eagle Gazette Day also. And we have our champions on display that day, our open class horse show again in the outdoor arena, and our auto demolition derby, and pre-sale tickets for those go on sale too. And it's always a good time to go.
Have you ever driven in that?
I have never driven in that.
Dave, have you driven?
I drive on Memorial Drive. It's about the same. You dodge and swerve and try to get through.
People's Bank Day is Saturday, October the 15th. There's a lot of good things going on that day. A lot of people enjoy watching the kids pedal pull down at the Round Barn, and it's such a historic building. If you get a chance visiting the fair, stop down there and visit some of our historic buildings. One of the things that I found as I began out here at the fairgrounds is Mr. Benson had shared with me a lot of the historic part of Fairfield County Fairgrounds, and it is a very historic site. And just the buildings itself, the years that they were built, what they were built for, and different things like that. Take a tour in some of those buildings and look at the way they were built, and just look at them, because they're very historic for Fairfield County.
And you're also going to be having a TV show called At the Fair. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I wanted to try to In my years of law enforcement with the Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Phelan began a program that was pretty successful in letting people know what's going on at the Sheriff's Office, giving them information and education about different events in our county. And I wanted to try to carry that through to a little bit more show at the fairgrounds that would be able to educate the public about what events are happening at the fairgrounds, who are special people that make a difference at our fairgrounds. And like Mr. Benson said, they're family members that come for years that put a display on during the fair. And we have people in our community that man different buildings within the fairgrounds that have a historic value, and they want to protect the integrity of those. At the railroad station, Mr. Brown is there every year, and he enjoys that, and he takes care of that, and he's got great pride in that. And those are the stories I want to share with our community.
The going back, Dave, I mean, is there something, or you went someplace and said, boy, we ought to try that, or maybe something that you wanted to do, or just something that...
Yes, when my first year as the fair manager, at that time we had small grandchildren, and I don't know if people remember this or not, but our children's rides, kiddie rides, were mixed in with our adult rides. And my wife said to me, she said, boy, it would be nice if the fair was sort of like Cedar Point or Kings Island, where the children's rides were all in one location. And you didn't have to take them around and mix them in with the adult rides. And so I approached our Pew Amusements at that time, was for providing our amusement rides, and asked them if that was possible. And they told me, well, we've been wanting to do that for quite a few years, but we're afraid to mention it to the fair board, afraid that they might think we're trying to do something we can't do. And I said, I think it would be a wonderful idea. And I said, do you do that at any fairs? And they told me, yes, we do. So I went around that summer and visited a few of those fairs where they had the Kittyland. The next year, we developed Kittyland, and had to move some long-time vendors who had been in the same location for a long time. And I was told it wouldn't work, and I thought, well, I think it will work. And it has been one of the best things that we've ever done the week of the fair. The first year I was fair manager, our office door was always swinging open. I lost my child. Here comes somebody with a child that's 3 or 4 or 5 years old, had lost their parents. We have cut that down tremendously, of lost children being on the fairgrounds. And to me, the safety and well-being of the people who visit our fair are very, very, very important to us. The same way with clean restrooms, very important. The people do not want to walk into restrooms that are dirty and haven't been well maintained. So, those are things that are important to me, is when you come to the fair, you have a very, very enjoyable time. And if you get them young, they'll come back.
Yeah, sure.
You get them young, they'll come back. If young people have a wonderful time, a great time at the fair, as adults, they will come back. And, Mike, as I sat in the office or walk the grounds, I see people in congregations of 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 people. They are people who have lived in Fairfield County, lived in Lancaster, who return each year for the Fairfield County Fair and reconnect with those people who they were friends with when they were young. So to me, that is one of the highlights of the fair. Other people say, well, it's the entertainment and other things that go on, but I just think the relationships and the things that people reconnect with each other are so very important to Fairfield County.
Well, and I think too, that's probably one of the things that we're looking to do is educate in our. We have a new ag center this year, and I'll let Mr. Benson talk a little bit about it. But it's to educate the young people that may not have an animal, may not be involved in 4-H, but could in the future, and it gives them an opportunity to see some things. We're going to have a simulator there, a combine simulator, and some FFA members that are able to talk about their experience in FFA and 4-H. And you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, yes, this is something new that we're bringing to the fair this year. This is our one new event that we're bringing to the fair. It's called Ag Awareness Building, and it's going to be in the Ed Sands Farm Bureau building. And we're bringing in, like Tim said, a combine simulator. Children could get in and sit and see what it's like to operate one of those big combines that they see in the field. We're going to have a tractor simulator. The soil and water conservation are going to have information, but it's going to be a great, I think, thing for the public to see, and we're going to have, I think a new combine's $800,000. I think that's the price of it. I'm not sure about that, but it's in that range. And you see these giant machines out in the field. Well, that farmer has one heck of a lot of money invested in that piece of equipment that he's using. And without agriculture and without our farmers, we would be a very hungry country. And it's important to us as a fair to educate and let people know that farming is still a very, very, very important part of Fairfield County.
Challenges, Tim? I'm sure you probably have people already saying, well, can we do this? Can we do that? What do you, how do you filter those?
Yeah, well, what's helped me, I think, is through relationships. We just had the Mount Pleasant truck and tractor pull shootout with the Fairfield Union Young Farmers, and most of the people that are there I've already known and established relationships throughout the years in law enforcement on one aspect or another. So building
I like that one aspect
whether they've seen me in the rear view mirror or not, sometimes they may have. But I think I have a little bit of a availability to establish some relationships, to carry some things for us to that next level with. 20 plus years of working at the Lancaster Festival with the Lancaster Police Department, my relationship with law enforcement, and we've got great Fairfield County Sheriff's Office, a great Lancaster Police Department, and I think if we continue to work together on things to make Fairfield County a safe place for all of us, and for that week of the fair where we all come for a week in at Fair Avenue and High Street there and share a week of time together to do what we do to continue to keep it safe and work with our officials to do that.
Retirement, is right around the corner, and plans?
Well, I have no real plan set in stone, but I'm going to be my own person for the first time in quite a few years, and get up when I want to get up and go to bed when I want to go to bed. But I truly, truly have enjoyed it, and I will miss the people. Sure. I will miss the communications I have with people, and I'm not going to stop that, okay? You're going to see me around the fairgrounds, and whenever Tim needs help, I hope he's not afraid to ask that I'm not going to tell him he needs to do it this way, but if he asks for advice, why, I'll say, well, yeah, I'll share you a little. And that was the great thing when I came on as fair manager. The board members, we had a couple, Elvin Strickler in particular, who helped me quite a bit. He had been on the fair board for quite a few years and sort of took me under his wing a little bit. And today his son is the fair manager of the Ohio State Fair.
Wow.
And he started here in Fairfield County. But it's, you listen to people, and you have to be a good listener. And Tim will do a very good job because he's a people person, and he has been dealing with the public for quite a few years. And, a lot of what we do is dealing with people and making them happy and helping them to have an enjoyable time.
Time has flown by. We just have a few minutes left. For somebody that's never been to the fair, how would you look in the cameras and tell them to come? How would you get them to come to the fair?
Well, it is one of the most beautiful fairgrounds in the state of Ohio, with the Mount Pleasant as our background. And you can come to the Fairfield County whether you're 2 years old or whether you're 90 years old, and there's something there for you. People in their late years can come and visit the schoolhouse, the railroad depot, the log cabin, and reminisce about what it was like. And that 2-year-old can come and pet an animal, see a baby chick, see a baby duck, see a beef animal. Or he can ride on the rides if he wants to. Or he can go down to our family fun center and play in the corn and play in the beans, soybeans, or he can color a picture. So there is something for everybody to do at the Fairfield County Fair. The $5 admission fee is a very reasonable expense to come to the fair. And, you know, again, everybody can come and eat. That's one day or one time of the year that you eat what you want to eat. You know,
The doctors won't mind. You
There
can eat
go.
what you
Yeah,
want.
That's right. Yes, yes. But it is a very enjoyable, clean entertainment for a family.
Tim, we have about a minute left. Just thoughts, comments?
I just thank again the Fairfield County Board, directors of the Fair Board for this opportunity. And I'd like to thank Mr. Benson. Dave Benson has been a great help, great mentor. And he would go up to the dining hall. He gave me a business card one day to write a number to give to a guy, and it said the fair guy on it. And I said, well, tell me about that, Dave. And he says, well, I'll go to the dining hall and I'd eat lunch. And the lady at the dining hall, or the guy at the dining hall said, you know, you're the fair guy. Here he is again today. You know, so his cards say the fair guy, and he's been a great representative for Fairfield County and our fair for a long time, and we're blessed to have him.
Absolutely. Thanks for your time and service.
Mike, thank
we
you.
appreciate it very
We
much.
appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in to this edition of Life's Perspective. I'm Mike Miller. And remember, until we meet again, let's make a difference.